So they don't want to lose their existing top talent, because that top talent may go somewhere else. They may move out of Dubai. They may move out of the region. And it's cost them thousands and thousands of dirham to get them to where they want to be. And actually, then they're just going to do the disappearing act. So it's very, very short-sighted. So lateral thinking is what is needed.
What's the biggest mistake, then, you think that managers make and continue to make?
I would say lack of communications. In all the cases that I see, and one of my roles in the UK is I'm an expert witness to the UK courts. And if I look at those cases, time and time again, if you track back, why did that particular employee decide to sue their bosses, which is what we do in the UK, you track it back to lack of communications, you track it back to no one listened to me, you track it back to no one understood me. And so therefore, what did I do? The only alternative I had left to me was to go to the trade unions. And the trade union said I could sue my boss. Hey, that's what I'm going to do. We don't want that. You don't want to end up as a file on my desk, believe me. So if you look at it preventatively and look at some of the strategies that actually include people. So the words that I'm going to be using are engagement. Engage with your people. Your processes are right. Just per se as a process, I'm going to say, hey ho, so what? But include your people. Involve your people. Make them into part of the decision-making process. If things are not going very well in the business, include your people accordingly. Involve them. So when you go through the upturn, we're all going through this together. It's a bit like, you've got to be there for people through the challenging times as well as the great fun times. So you're moving on to the good business strategies, and that's what you have to.
You're also changing company cultures.
That's what I was
and
going to
how dangerous is it when you come into the upswing and companies may think, oh, great, we can switch off that button now.
If it's only a button, I totally back what you're saying. If it's solely on your to-do list and I'm going to tick it off because we're going through a downturn, I totally agree with you. It is not going to stand the test of time. Fact. Now, if you take some of what we're saying and implement that into a part of the culture, which means you start developing a healthy workplace corporate culture, then you've got something to work with, because then out of the challenging times comes the learning. Out of the challenging times comes the experience, and out of the challenging times you can go forward into that upturn. If it's just putting plaster on the wound, you know what I'm going to say to you? Forget it. Don't even bother. Don't even bother to invest, because then now's the time to say it's enough. What I'm saying to you is it has to be a part of the culture for people to feel their bosses are with them. We're all working together. It's part of this, what I call, coming back to the we culture. Engagement, inspiration, motivation, involvement. Those are the kind of words that will carry people through, because I will then feel valued and recognised for what I do.
I think if we can just bring it back round to this conversation that we in fact started the show with, which was talking about the sense of having a common language or a common culture or a common way of corporate culture, of understanding. Now, you work predominantly in the UK, but as you mentioned, you've been doing lots of courses here as well, over in Oman too. I mean, how do you then transfer your knowledge and experience to perhaps working in corporations here or with people of different nationalities? Is it just a copy-paste scenario that you would take with you? Or, is it a lot more difficult to understand the various different cultures and ways of working, the corporate cultures?
What I see in Dubai, certainly, and certainly in the UAE, is that you have a wealth of diverse cultures here. Yes, I work in the UK, I work in Europe, right across the world. But here you have a microcosm of every nationality. It's one of the reasons why I love it here. I absolutely love it, because everybody has something to bring to the table. However, those cultures need to be valued for the uniqueness that they bring. They need to be understood. The communications levels need to be there. Because if you put everybody into one great big melting pot and saying we are all the same, I'll say, yes, of course we're the same. However, there's different uniquenesses that we actually all bring. So let us enjoy and actually build on the value of those diverse cultures, is what I would say. And that is the richness of the region. And we have it in some ways in the UK at home to some extent, but not as much as you have it here. And here, that is what you're known for. You're dealing with transient workplace, transient people. They're coming for X period of time, then they're leaving. We know there's no such thing anymore, even in the UK, as a job for life. It doesn't exist. And what I'd say is here in particular, people know they're on short-term contracts, and that's okay. It's just another way of life. You know, we're not looking back to 30 or 40 years ago when you left university and then you had a job for life, and I went to work on the railways in the UK and it was lovely. It doesn't exist. And even if you work in the civil service in the UK now, even then it's not the same. It's not quite the same.
But the job for life doesn't exist for two reasons. One, now because of the financial landscape and its kind of destruction and fallout, but also because as people globally, we've all evolved into understanding, absolutely believing that we don't need a job. We don't want a job for life. We're changing. It's like we believe, men believe they don't need a marriage for life. When the love stops, you move on, you find something else. How are companies dealing with that? How do companies deal with that?
Even like cut off. It's not working for me anymore.
It doesn't work for me anymore. I've got to move on. You know, it's like the management need constant updating, mind monitoring, culture shift monitoring. Companies are not moving in that way. I hear powerful conversations such as yours when we have the Hiroshima bomb situation. But who's actually taking time to speak to the likes of you when the going is good? And what, you know, our management actually saying, you know what, I've got a CV here, fabulously interesting human being, but changed 3 jobs. The guy making that judgment has been a job for life person who actually shouldn't be in his job.
2 words come to mind out of that. The 2 words that come to mind are mindset and attitude. Because if your mindset and attitude is right and in keeping with the culture in which you live, then it'll work for you. If your mindset is, I want a job for life, and that's not available, then it's not going to achieve your own expectations or anybody else's or your family's. If the mindset and attitude is I'll be here for X period of time and then I'll move on, then that could actually work for everybody. What organizations need are simple words. They need leaders. They want leaders who are going to take them forward. They want leaders, people crave for leadership. I mean true leadership, not somebody that does a cut and paste and stand up and really doesn't know really how to do it. I'm talking about somebody who will stand up above the parapet and say, this is what I believe in. And obviously Dubai is a major case in point. In fact, the greatest case study in the world of that happening. But somebody who is inspiring their troops, somebody who's inspiring their people. Because when the going gets tough, what is going to take them through? They're probably not going to be able to afford to pay them any more money. So why do you do things for other people? You do things for other people because I want to, from one human being to another.
It's respect, isn't it?
It's respect, it's buy-in, it's willingness. And the fact that I'm going to work extra hours for you and not get paid a dirham extra, I'll do it. Why? I'll do it for you guys because that's what I want to do. And I accept the fact that you can't afford to pay me because I know that when you can afford to pay me, you will.